When you look at the Earth from space, you don't see borders, countries, or divisions. All you see is one large, beautiful planet where billions of people live, work, and dream. Imagine for a moment that these borders didn't exist, that there were no nations, no separate governments, and no dividing lines on a map. Instead, all of humanity lived together as one united global nation. What would life be like? How would we be governed? Would there still be conflicts, poverty, and inequality? In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating idea of a world without borders. In our current world, nations play a crucial role in organizing people, providing governance, and creating a sense of identity. But if we were to erase those borders, the first major change would be the creation of a single global government. This would be necessary to manage the affairs of over 8 billion people living across diverse landscapes and cultures. But how would this government work? Would it be a democracy, an oligarchy, or something entirely new? In a world united under one government, the most likely scenario would be a form of global democracy, where every individual has a say in the decisions that affect their lives. Instead of voting for local or national leaders, we would vote for global representatives who would govern the entire planet. These leaders would need to be highly skilled in diplomacy, negotiation, and understanding the complex needs of a diverse population. Imagine a world leader not just concerned with the interests of one nation, but with the well-being of every human on Earth. But would this global government be truly effective? One of the biggest challenges would be managing the vast diversity of cultures, languages, and traditions. In our world today, even within a single country, there can be significant differences in opinions, beliefs, and values. On a global scale, these differences would be even more pronounced. The global government would need to find a delicate balance between respecting local cultures and traditions while ensuring that everyone is treated equally under a common set of laws. Speaking of laws, what kind of legal system would we have in a world without nations? In today's world, laws vary greatly from country to country, reflecting the values and priorities of different societies. In a united world, there would need to be a universal set of laws that apply to everyone, regardless of where they live. This could lead to the creation of a global constitution, a document that guarantees basic rights and freedoms for all people. However, creating and enforcing these laws would be a massive challenge. How do you ensure that a law that makes sense in one part of the world is fair and just in another? Now, let's talk about war. In our current world, wars are often fought over territory, resources, and power. But in a world without nations, would there still be war? It's possible that with a single global government, the reasons for war would diminish. There would be no more conflicts over borders or disputes between countries, since there would be no countries to begin with. However, this doesn't mean that all conflict would disappear. Humans have always found reasons to fight, whether it's over ideology, religion, or personal ambition. So while large-scale wars might become less common, smaller conflicts and tensions could still arise. On the other hand, without national rivalries, we might see an unprecedented level of global cooperation. Imagine all the resources currently spent on military defense being redirected towards solving global problems like poverty, climate change, and disease. With everyone working together, we could make incredible progress in these areas. The need for military forces might decrease, and we could see a world where the focus shifts from competition to collaboration. Economically, a world without nations would be incredibly different from what we know today. Currently, the global economy is made up of individual national economies, each with its own currency, trade policies, and economic systems. In a unified world, there would likely be a single global currency, and trade barriers would disappear. This could lead to a more efficient global economy, where resources are allocated based on need rather than national interest. However, this economic unity could also bring challenges. In today's world, economic inequality is a major issue, with vast differences in wealth and living standards between countries. In a single global economy, the challenge would be to ensure that wealth is distributed more equally across the world. Without nations, it might be easier to implement global policies aimed at reducing poverty and inequality. For example, a global minimum wage or universal basic income could be introduced, ensuring that everyone has access to a basic standard of living, no matter where they are. But would poverty disappear entirely? That's a difficult question. While a united world might make it easier to address global poverty, other factors like education, access to resources, and infrastructure would still play a role. It's possible that while extreme poverty might be reduced, economic disparities could still exist in some form. The key would be creating systems that allow everyone to have the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their background or where they live. Socially, life in a world without nations would be radically different. Without the concept of nationality, people might start to see themselves as part of a global community rather than as citizens of a particular country. This could lead to a stronger sense of global identity and solidarity. Imagine a world where people are more connected, not just through technology, but through a shared sense of purpose and responsibility. Without national divisions, we might see a greater focus on our common humanity and the challenges we face together. Education would play a crucial role in this new world. With a single global education system, children everywhere could have access to the same quality of education, learning about the world from a global perspective rather than a national one. This could lead to a generation of people who are more open-minded, empathetic, and knowledgeable about the world around them. However, this global identity could also pose challenges. For many people, their national identity is a key part of who they are. It gives them a sense of belonging and pride. In a world without nations, people might struggle to find new ways to define themselves. This could lead to a loss of cultural diversity as people adopt a more homogenized global culture. The challenge would be finding a way to celebrate and preserve cultural diversity while fostering a sense of global unity. Another interesting aspect to consider is how a world without nations would impact language. Today, there are over 7,000 languages spoken around the world, each with its own unique history and cultural significance. In a unified world, there might be a push towards adopting a common global language to facilitate communication and governance. While this could make it easier for people to connect and collaborate, it could also threaten the survival of many smaller languages and the cultural heritage they represent. Efforts would need to be made to preserve linguistic diversity while promoting global understanding. When it comes to travel, a world without nations would be a traveler's dream. No more visas, passports, or border controls. People could move freely from one part of the world to another. This increased mobility could lead to greater cultural exchange and understanding, as people experience different ways of life firsthand. It could also make it easier for people to seek opportunities, whether for work, education, or simply to explore new places. However, this freedom of movement could also pose challenges, such as managing population growth in certain areas and ensuring that infrastructure can support a more mobile population. In terms of technology, a unified world could lead to faster advancements and more widespread access to innovations. With no national barriers, scientific research and technological development could be more easily shared and implemented on a global scale. This could lead to faster progress in areas like healthcare, renewable energy, and space exploration. Imagine a world where the best minds from around the globe are working together to solve the world's biggest challenges, with no concerns about national competition or proprietary interests. But what about the environment? A world without nations could potentially lead to better environmental stewardship. Without national borders, environmental issues like climate change, deforestation, and pollution could be addressed more effectively on a global scale. There would be no need for international agreements or negotiations. Everyone would be working towards the same goal of protecting our planet for future generations. This could lead to more coordinated efforts to reduce carbon emissions, conserve natural resources, and protect endangered species. In conclusion, a world without nations would be vastly different from the one we live in today. It would bring both opportunities and challenges as we navigate the complexities of governing a single global society. While some issues like war, poverty, and inequality might be easier to address in a united world, others, like cultural diversity and identity, would require careful consideration. Ultimately, the success of such a world would depend on our ability to work together, embrace our common humanity, and find new ways to celebrate the rich diversity that makes our planet so unique. As we contemplate this idea, it's important to remember that while we may come from different places and speak different languages, we all share the same home. Perhaps, in the end, it's not about erasing borders, but about recognizing that we are all part of something much bigger, a global community that has the potential to create a better future for everyone. Thank you for watching, and I hope this exploration of a world without nations has given you something to think about. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more thought-provoking content.